All right, what's going on, people? Nick Daniels here. I don't even have anything to call you. I just. What's going on? Nick Daniels here, coming at you live, man, yet again. And today, man, we're going to be reading a online dating fail from Trusty Chords. I don't know. That's all I got. So I'm a little tired, man. I'm just vegetating right now. So my apologies if it. You can tell like I'm propped, I'm cozied right up in my little chair here. Okay, so let's get right into it. So yeah, so r slash Reddit, you know how it is. So bear with me, it gets good towards the end. Great. So this one looks like a bit of a doozy. So this happened a couple years ago. The receptionist of one of my clients talked slash begged me into meeting her best friend, who just moved to LA from Phoenix. She swore up and down we were perfect for each other. Of course, it's always the friend throws it out there. I checked out her OkCupid profile, chatted back and forth for a few days, and then talked to the mystery girl once on the phone, and we decided to meet for dinner and drinks at a local bar and grill after her shift. She's a nurse. This was over. This was over on a Tuesday night. So dissecting that already, which sounds pretty good. The friend kind of talked her up. She found her on OkCupid, or he found her on OkCupid, which is interesting. And then they did get the chat for a bit. They had a phone call, which is good. I like that. A phone call before a meeting as well can kind of sort out a little bit of either red flags, and it can ease into meeting somebody. You're a little bit less uncomfortable when you meet someone. I find it can like you've actually talked to them. You know what I mean? Also, dinner and drinks at a bar and grill after work, I think is fine. I think it's great. So yeah, so far so good. We meet. She's an adorable, petite, dirty blonde with glasses and freckles. Well, all right. I like it. I like it. Totally my type. I could tell she was a bit nervous. We sit down and order drinks. She downs her apple martini in less than 5 minutes, orders another, and apologizes, stating she wants to loosen up a bit because she's nervous and her friend talked me up so much. Which, I mean, I think is fair, actually. Which is odd since I don't even know her friend all that well. Fast forward a bit, she ended up having 2 martinis before the appetizers came, 2 more in between appetizers, and 3 more during dinner, and 1 more right before the check came. Holy smokes. Um, okay, total martinis had by a 5'3", 100-pound girl in a 3-hour period, 7. Surprisingly, the conversation during the period did quite well. The trouble came as we were about to leave, and she decided to use the restroom before she hit the road. I'm scared that she's not gonna she's just gonna bail. Okay. She fell twice on the way and once on the way back. Since she was clearly hammered, I offered her to drive her home and give her some cash for a cab in the morning to pick up her car. She agreed but declined the cash. Okay, so she drove. They met there. They drove separately, which is good. And then I think that's a really respectful thing to do. Hey, listen, I'll drive you home. Here's a couple bucks. You just grab a cab in the morning, and whatever. You're clearly hammered. I think that's actually pretty fair. Okay, so she did agree though, but she declined the cash. Mind you, it's nearing midnight, and I have to get up at 5:30 for work. Holy smokes! Also, it sounds like they had a pretty good date if they were out that late. Like, I don't know what time they went there, but as we were driving toward her apartment, it becomes apparent that, combined with her drunken state and the fact that she's lived in the valley for less than 2 weeks, she forgot her address and how to get herself home. That's not good. We drive around North Hollywood and Studio City for an hour, trying to remember her streets or any local landmarks. This fails, and I'm getting tired and frustrated. Yeah, I'd be getting really tired and frustrated. I offer to let her stay at my place. Nothing weird. She can crash on the bed, and I'll take the couch. And she's okay with this. On the way back to my place, she attempts to throw up out the car window, but doesn't realize the window was never open in the first place. She vomits everywhere. Now she's crying and apologizing like crazy. I get her to my apartment, carry her up the 3 flights of stairs, and toss her on my bed. She's out cold. I go downstairs and spend another 40 minutes cleaning up my car and finally get to sleep at my couch around 2 in the morning. Around 4:30 a.m., I'm awoken by a shrill scream coming from my bedroom. I run in wearing just my boxers, flip the light on. The girl pauses for a second, looks at me and screams more, backs into a corner and throws my nightstand lamp at me while yelling, "Who the fuck are you?" It's not good. It takes a minute for me to calm her down and explain the situation, reminding her of our night. It eventually all comes back to her. She starts crying and apologizing. After I calm her down some more, I give her a ride home. Great. During our ride home, the awkward silence is only broken by her apologizing by sobbing, telling me how to get to her place. Now she remembers how to get there, of course. And then asking if we hooked up. I told her we didn't, and that I'm not the creepy type to take advantage of girls in her condition. She replied with something along the lines of, "Oh, okay, I'm not typically a lush, and I'm definitely not a slut." I was just super nervous, and I didn't know my limit last night. 7 martinis, by the way. You seem great, and I hope we can see each other again. I ended up saying sure just to avoid more awkwardness and gave her an in-car hug and said goodnight. Oh, okay. Okay, so it is like 4 a.m. Okay, and she's probably gonna go back and sleep. I'm surprised she remembered her place. The next day, while slothing around work and a meeting, she called. It went to voicemail. Immediately, she called again twice. Finally, she left the voicemail. Said voicemail went something like, "So I was thinking about what I asked on your way home last night in regards to us hooking up, and I'm curious as to why you didn't try anything with me. Is it because you think you're too good for me, huh? Big shot LA guy. Well, whatever. I'm not a slut and I don't sleep around, but you missed a shot at some awesome sex last night, so whatever. Click." About half an hour later, while I'm still in the meeting, she calls and leaves another voicemail, this time crying. "I'm sorry about what I said earlier. I'm just having trouble adjusting to a new place. I'm homesick, yada yada. You seem great. Please call me back and don't ignore me, please. I'm sorry." Needless to say, I didn't call her back. Her friend, the receptionist, apologized the next time I saw her. We didn't talk much about it after the fact. Okay, so that was really a lot to take in. And I'll basically just make this quick. But yeah, when you go to a date, and a date to me is like a job interview. You kind of, you're not really like selling it to the person. I don't want to make it come off like that, but it's your first impression, like a first impression to a company, and vice versa, right? And it doesn't give a good sign when someone like does that kind of thing, because it doesn't, like, I don't think we got an age here. Okay, we don't think we got an age on either of the people. Yeah, we didn't get an age. So, yeah, we don't have an age on either one of them. But a big thing about, like, in my opinion, of, like, maturity, being independent, that kind of thing, something I'm into, or things I'm into, is one of them, and I mean, it's a very basic thing in my opinion, is knowing your limit, is knowing how much can I go and drink, and being responsible, Like, if I go on a date, and maybe it's just because I'm a guy, I don't know, maybe it's just because I think this way. If I go on a date and I'm willingly going somewhere, and willingly knowing I'm going to have a few drinks, and willingly knowing I'm not going to drive home, I don't depend on that person to get me back to my home. I would make my own arrangements, right? Because it's just dangerous. Things can happen, right? Now, like, props to the guy in the story here, for doing the responsible thing, and I don't know if it was right or wrong, but he offered her to the apartment. He didn't, like, force her by any means. She agreed to it. He's like, "Here's the bed, I'll take the couch, you whatever." So it kind of also kept an eye on her to make sure she didn't do anything absolutely crazy, being in that state of being drunk. And then still drove her home in the morning, knowing he had to be at work at like 5:30. And then for her to have that audacity to come back and be like, "Well, you missed a great chance on sex," and basically that would have been rape, is what that would have been, right? And the guy was like, "No." So, like, I don't even know, like, what feeling she was having after, but it sounds like she's, like, mentally unwell. Yeah, there's a lot of times about these red flags that'll come in, and one of them is when people start drinking a little bit too much on a date. For me, it's a massive turnoff. Because if you are just that nervous, then I really don't know what to tell you. Like, I get nervous, I get anxious about a date, and I'll have a beer. Like, I will literally have a beer, and I'm like, that's good enough, right? Because I'm just, I'm that comfortable that I can do that. If you're not that comfortable and you have to have 7 martinis, like, that's a lot. And I also didn't say if he paid for the date or not, but if he did, he paid for a lot of drinks that, clearly it didn't go anywhere for him. Like, he never saw her again. And I think he did quite well cutting ties, with this said lady. All right, take it easy, guys. Thanks for watching, and girls, and hopefully you enjoyed. Take it easy. Peace.